We have very little confidence in this emergency plan and have said so to government. Each of the local authorities across England, Wales and Scotland, only Northern Ireland has its own emergency plan. So those three countries, all the local authorities, decide which filling stations in their authority areas they want to be deemed as designated filling stations. So we have probably just over 10% of the total number of forecourts designated as DFS. Now, in the interim, since these emergency plans were revealed, the local authorities should have set up local resilience forums. And those local resilience forums should have visited all the designated filling stations to tell them how the plan would be enacted if it were to be enacted. I think the number of LFR visits has been remarkably few. So a lot of our members who are designated filling stations would probably just want to close up and forget it, because the risk to their staff is enormous.
Actually, for this to work, you would need security, wouldn't you, in those garages?
And we've asked whether police resources would be available, and the police have said no. Unless there was actually a major fight, confrontation, bumper cars playing on the forecourt, they would not come out. Occasionally, they might come out if there is a total scrummage on a main road, but there was no resource available to forecourt. So our members, a lot of them said, well, this is just ridiculous, we will close. So the whole concept falls to pieces.
Yeah, I have to say, I rather suspected that. Now, Brian, a couple of very key questions, please. Number one, where are we right now in terms of the 8,500 forecourts around the country? And secondly, when is normality, really easy question for you, when is normality going to return?
Well, we represent the independents, which is about 65% or 5,500 of the total number. So not supermarkets, not BP and Shell company owned, the independents who do have the oil brand on their forecourts. And we conducted a survey this morning, a sample of about a third, 1,500 sites right across mainland UK, not Northern Ireland. Amazingly, they don't have any panic buying over there, which is great. So we surveyed our members, and this morning, 37% of the 1,500 sites had no fuel. And that actually was a significant improvement over the survey we did on Sunday, where the least worst was 50% had closure, and the worst was a group which had 90% of their sites closed. So yes, there has been some improvement. And in fact, in addition to that, 40% of the sites had either a diesel grade to buy or a petrol grade to buy. And a lucky 23% had both grades and were operating normally. So there was some trend improvement.
But it obviously depends on geography, and your point about Northern Ireland, I think, you know, there are parts, from what I understand of it, Scotland, Northern Ireland, where the pressure is not as great, perhaps, as in London and the home county.
Yes, it's very much where there's vehicle density, which is where population density, and it's really the metropolitan parts, particularly of England.
Yeah. And Brian, finally, when do we get back to absolute normality? Come on, name the day, please.
Well, that depends, Nigel, on us, the motorists. Are we going to go, when we filled up our tank, the brim last Friday, we get to tomorrow and we think, oh my goodness, we've only got a half tank, I better go and fill up again? Well, if they can resist that urge and just leave it a few days to try and allow us, with the industry, to replenish the stocks underground, we will be better off. But we will be watching very carefully as we go into this weekend to see if there's any sign of equilibrium starting to take place between supply and demand. At the moment, it looks as though demand is going to be more than supply for a few days yet.
Welcome to the GB News YouTube channel. You can watch us live 24 hours a day, catch up on your favourite shows and join in the conversation in the comments below.
Don't forget to subscribe and you'll never miss any of our exclusive content.